Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming to this launch of Connect and Thrive. This website has been happening for a while, and it's been one heck of a year. So thank you for being here and helping me launch and supporting me in my endeavor and my purpose. You know, I chose the name Connect and Thrive from a book that I was working on several years ago, and it was called Thriving Through Connection. And over time, that title just kept coming through my head and coming through my head. And I shortened it and I made it very much a philosophy of mine. And I truly believe that the way that we can create a thriving life is through connection. And Connect and Thrive is a connection to possibility. After several conversations with myself and friends and family and colleagues and clients, and through many, many life experiences, it became crystal clear to me that connection is where our power lies. It's all within us. And the path to that connection is through communication. Communication is the web that connects us all to ourselves, each other, and to the thriving life that we all want. And, you know, we communicate with ourselves constantly. When we're asleep, when we're awake. When we're asleep, it's dreaming. When we're awake, it's conversations that we have within ourselves, with each other. And very often, those conversations don't connect us to our true power. We don't use conversation and connection and communication in a way that makes us more. These conversations don't help us rise, make us happier, build stronger relationships, which is everything that we want. But what they actually do, that's a word, is they tear us down. We tear ourselves down. We create fear, doubt. We end up feeling powerless and paralyzed. What am I going to do about it? We just get paralyzed into inaction. And it's a downward spiral that leads us to despair and suffering. You know, several years ago, I moved to Italy, and it was a fantastic opportunity. We got to pick up our lives and go on an adventure to a new culture, a new language, new food. We could experience new wine. It was incredible. And when we got here, it really was incredible. And we lived all of the things, and we experienced all the people, and it was fantastic until it wasn't. And I found myself one day in my kitchen, and I was cooking and crying. And I had been crying a lot for several months, if not a few years. And with wine in hand, I saw myself in a reflection in a window. And let me tell you, it was not a pretty picture. It was not just a reflection of my face in a window. It was a reflection of my being. And it was the picture of suffering. And I thought, this can't be all there is. I know there's more. And I discovered that I had become completely disconnected to myself. And I would like to say that that was the last time that happened, but it wasn't. And I had a whole lot more connecting to do. You know, we can be so much more to ourselves and to each other. But I did wonder, how can I change it? Because like I said, I knew there was more, but how could I do it? And I found out that that change happens when we truly and authentically connect to ourselves. And we change how we communicate to ourselves and each other. We change the conversation. We seek understanding. And that's how we can create an upward spiral. Connection is the one thing that leads us to happiness, blooming relationships, rewarding work, all the things that we want in our life. And that is what Connect and Thrive is all about. That's why I created Connect and Thrive, so that I could coach you toward connection from that place and go towards a thriving life. And we get there through communication. I don't know if you know who Brene Brown is, but she's an incredible researcher and social worker. And she says that connection is why we're here. It's what gives our life meaning and purpose. And without it, there is suffering. And it became my life purpose. After I had gone through all of that suffering, I thought, if I can help even just one person to get through the suffering and get past the pain, then it was my responsibility to help and to eliminate suffering and build connection, because I know that's how we get there. And how do we get there? I hope that I have created an accepting, judgment-free zone for you to come and communicate, find direction, and get energized. I want you to come and share your journey and move past the pain and the suffering you've experienced. And I hope that you allow me to be a guide that leads you towards your potential and happiness and alignment with yourself. And, it all starts with a chat, we're going to go deep. We'll go deep and rediscover what is important to you, where your value lies, and what a thriving life looks like to you. It's where it all starts. And I hope that you let me step into your journey and start with you and go there together. So where do you do that? Right here on this website is your connection to connection. It's where you can contact me directly and we can start our journey together and start walking the path toward a thriving life. If you haven't yet, take a peek at it and see that there are answers, solutions, ideas, and conversations that will help lead you to that thriving life. Everything that you need is right inside of you. And I'm here to help you find your path to a thriving life. So on that note, I have a little bonus for you today. I want to help you take the next step, one step, a little bit closer to connection. And there are several ways to start improving your connection to yourself. And I think one of the most important ones is to pay attention to the conversations you have with yourself. So I don't know if you're a notepad kind of person or, notes on your phone or an iPad kind of person, but go ahead and get that out, because you're going to be carrying that with you all day or for several days. And I want you to, as you wake up in the morning and you have that conversation with yourself, which moves on into other conversation, I want you to think about what it is that you're saying to yourself and how from the moment we wake up, we start a conversation and we decide how we're going to approach our day, what our preconceived notions of how that day is going to go are, what tasks we have to take care of, what errands we need to run. And usually these conversations take place at such a rapid fire pace that we actually don't even hear the words we use when we speak to ourselves. They've just become ingrained and part of who we are. And usually they're not in our own best interest. So What I'd like you to do on that notepad or cell phone is keep track of these conversations and keep track of what you say to yourself, and write things down when you catch them, because it's fast, but if you can catch it, write it down and be specific. I know that for myself, until I changed my conversation, my everyday conversation sounded something like this. Okay, so this didn't get done yesterday, so I have to do it today. Or, oh, geez, not the bank. It's such a pain. You know, I don't even want to get up. The sun isn't even awake yet. And I really don't want to deal with that today. So as I say these things, maybe you can see your own and hear your own conversations going through your mind when I say that. So what does your conversation sound like? You know, take the time. See how often you use the words that are about not, about that are about lack, about burden. How often do you say to yourself, you know, something in my life is not, or today I can't, or here's a good one, I won't. And the most damaging one I can think of is I'm not. And I know for myself, I said that one an awful lot. You may be surprised how often our self-conversations actually encourage us to be exactly who we don't want to be. It's not something that we're conscious of, and that's the damaging part. And I hope that by writing them down and making note of those conversations, we can start to reverse those conversations. Because whether we want to admit it or not, we are playing a role in our own suffering, and we don't even know it. So let's get aware and understand how we function in our own suffering. Then when you know what you're saying, you can change the conversation. You can actually start talking yourself into connection. It's a fantastic thing. You know, connection heals, it encourages, it propels, it excites. And that is when it really starts to get fun and creative. So after writing these things down, take a day, take 2 days, take a week, however long it takes you to become aware of what it is that you're saying to yourself and how it's not helping you. Then the next step, step 2 that we're going to go with, is I want you to start replacing those words, those negative energy sucking words, with words that are energetic, that are hopeful, that give you the motivation to go out and do the things that you need to do every day with enthusiasm. Some examples are just, sometimes you just need to flip it. Instead of I won't, turn it into I will. Instead of I can't, how can I? And I don't want that to be a question. I want it to be a statement. How can I make this happen today? It's not a question, it's a statement. And how about I am? Or what about? You know, we've all heard of open-ended questions, and some of those are open-ended questions. And it's important to know that when we ask those questions, what we're doing is we're opening up ourselves to possibilities for answers. So these open-ended statements and sometimes questions are opening you to possibility. And that's really what we want, is we want to talk ourselves into connecting to the possibilities that we have. I've said for a very long time, change your words, change your life. And I truly believe that because I've done it. And as you continue to do it, you will see how language can change your perspective and connect you to the best part of yourself, not the person who doubts, who doesn't believe in themselves. That's not who we want, right? So let me know how it is that you see your perspective changing. I would love to hear from you and talk about how this small exercise impacts you every day. So I would love you to just sort of reach out and let me know how it's coming together for you. Until then, we've been collecting a couple of questions from you, and I would love to kind of address those questions and see what we can, what possibilities we can come up with today.
Thank you, Anita. So that was really, inspiring, and a lot of things that you were saying really resonate with me, and I'm sure that it will also resonate with the others that are listening to this. And I just, before I read up the questions that we got here, I just, want to say that I really appreciate that you're here to help us connect, and also to help us change the conversations that we have to with ourselves.
Thank you. Thanks, Malou. I appreciate it.
So one of the questions that we have here is, I am a coach myself. Can I benefit from your programs?
Oh, most definitely, because I think that whether you're a coach or not, you still have these conversations every day. It's almost like we're pre-programmed. Our brains are designed to keep us safe and not to go out of the box of what's going to keep us safe. And so we're going to go along the way that we've always gone, and we know how to deal with it, and it's safe and it's known. As a coach, we do the same thing. We are very accustomed to coaching others to get out of that way of thinking and get out of those self-conversations. But we still need, just like someone else needs a coach, we need a coach to help us get out of those conversations that we still have with ourselves every day.
Okay, thank you. Another question is, do you offer courses on demand and also face-to-face?
Oh, definitely. We live in a much different world than we did just a year ago. We have an ability now to reach out through technology and create something that is evergreen, where you can access it on demand and kind of revitalize yourself at any given moment. And at the same time, we still need that one-to-one contact where we can speak to each other and see each other all the time. So I think the best way that I can help you is by creating an atmosphere where you can access anything that you need whenever it is that you can and want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have the third question here, which is, how do I know if you're the best person for me?
Oh gosh, I think the best way for me to answer that question is actually to hear from one of my clients who she was so incredibly satisfied with what it is that I helped her with. And I will try to quote it as close as I can here. Actually, let me go ahead and find it, because I think that we all will benefit most from hearing exactly what Annalisa said, because I can't say it nearly as well as she does. She said, why look elsewhere for another coach? Anita has the power of brilliant intelligence, radiant positive thinking, concrete empowerment skills, and relentless faith in the good one can achieve for themselves and that of their surrounding environment, all the way up to the universe.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And if I can do that with someone else, I'm sure that I hope that I can do that with you, whomever you may be.
Okay, yeah, and there's actually a question a little bit in the same direction. It says, do you have a trial session so I can try it out before I decide to commit?
Oh, definitely. You can go onto the website and you can sign up for a 30-minute chat. And I will talk to you personally, and we'll get some things figured out. You know, we'll like I said, we'll dive deep and we'll find out exactly how it is that I can help you. And that's what we need to do. And actually today, as a special thank you to those of you that have attended this launch, I have an opportunity to connect with me for a free 1-hour chat. And it will give me the opportunity to get to know you better and for you to see how you are impacting your own life. And for both of us to see that if I can help guide you toward the connection and just start walking the path to thriving. You can go to the website and click on chat with me. And I would love to set up some time for you as a special thank you. And we get each other for a whole hour.
That's great. Yeah, that's a really nice offering. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to do that. That's what I do. And if I can help anyone that way, I'd be over the moon about it. Absolutely over the moon.
So we have 3 questions left. So it says, how do you manage to connect with online coaching?
You know, I really thought that was going to be a problem for me because I am definitely a live one-to-one, I a physical connector. But as it turns out, as I started doing more of it online, it started to become very natural to me. I will admit that I probably looked a bit like a robot the first time that I did it. I was like, hi, how are you today? But I'm not there anymore. And I've really gotten a lot of connection and helped, a lot of people connect to themselves through my ability to connect to them online. Technology is fantastic.
So I have just my own follow-up question. So is this also something that you can help people with, because I'm sure that obviously after the COVID, everything changed. So can you help people connect to their clients or to their business partners through, online? Is that something you can help with?
Definitely, because, my doing what I do, my intention is to connect to people. However, I understand, because I used to be a robot, I understand how difficult it can be to connect to your colleagues and to create an atmosphere where you're productive and you're creating a team environment and you're supporting each other, say, maybe to complete a project. And these are all skills that we need to learn. And I think through my learning them, I can definitely help others in business achieve the same kind of connection that you need to have a team that's productive and cohesive.
Got it. Understood. Sure. Thank you. We have a question here that says, I have a bunch of job interviews with behavioral questions coming up. Is that something you can also help me with?
Oh, definitely. I think that I kind of excel at behavioral questions. I've spent a whole lot of time focusing on my own behavior and the behavior of others, and also how to express how your behavior benefits, say, a team. If you're going for a job interview, you'll probably be working with a team, and you need to be able to explain how you can support that team, how you can create higher productivity, and all kinds of questions like that. And it all comes down to how we connect to each other and how comfortable we are with each other. So definitely, we need to learn how to connect online, because so many of us are online now, that I would be honored to help people in that team environment and create. It's hard to, sometimes it's hard in a job interview to bring that across, but I definitely think we can handle it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I have a question that is maybe you already answered it. It says on your website, it says life coaching sessions. So my question is, do you also help with other situations? So not just life coaching, but also other things.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Life coaching encompasses a lot, right? But we had just discussed a minute ago about job interviews, and a question before that, we had talked about team productivity. So those are in the work arena, but I also help people improve their relationships. You know, our lives function around relationships, and we need to learn how to communicate back and forth in those relationships in order to make them blossom and to make them bloom. So sure, life coaching, relationship coaching, job interviews, how to create a cohesive team. I also love to go in and speak to roomfuls of people and help them figure out how connection and communication will help them function better in the different areas and the different arenas of their life.
Good.
Yeah.
I hope we can get back to these groups soon.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
So the last question that we've gathered here today is that I am not interested in a longer face-to-face sessions. Do you have any courses that I can buy and watch in my own time?
Oh, definitely. I have one that I just created on self-belief, which all comes back to connecting to yourself. And I've also got other courses kind of in the pipeline, you know, that I'm planning right now. I'm working on the big one I'm working on right now is all about listening. You know, it all comes back to listening to ourselves, listening to each other. And that's the next one in the pipeline. And I'm creating courses as I talk to you more. I find out what it is that you need, and I kind of tap into this wellspring of knowledge and experiences and education that I have, and I give you what you need in the form of, you know, courses that you can watch at your convenience. And also, you know, that's important because those one-to-one sessions, we don't always have time for it. So you need to be able to access it when it's most important for you, when you think you can make the greatest connection and the greatest changes in your own conversation.
Okay, great to hear. So that was all the questions that we gathered. However, if there are any other questions, where should they send them to?
You know, you can go right to the website, or you can get me on Facebook. You just have to look up Anita Fordin, and I'm on Facebook. You can question me, send me questions there directly. You can also go to the contact section of the website, and you can contact me there. My email is right there, and you can contact me through email. So I hope to hear from you soon. And again, thank you so much for being here today. This is the big launch. It's going to be big. And I'm so glad that you've all been here to support me along the way. And I hope to connect to you soon. Bye for now.